Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you. This is Shilpa Garg. I'm working as a lead AI consultant in Magic Software. I have a total experience of around 6 years in the industry in ML and AI domain. Apart from that, I'm also working as a GDG organizer and a WTM ambassador. Today we'll be talking about deploying our apps on GCP. Today we have Dharmesh with us as well. Over to you, Dharmesh.
Thanks, Shilpa. Today, we are going to talk about deploying our apps on GCP. I'm Dharmesh Vaya, Director of Technology at Agraya Technologies, also a Google developer expert for cloud and payment systems. Let us see some magic rolling by deploying our apps on GCP. To get started, let me give you a quick agenda on what we are going to see in the next 45 minutes. We are first going to define our problem statement and a possible solution around it, something around serverless. So you got the hints that where this talk will lead to, and a fantastic demo on a hands-on deployment of how you can bring your app from zero to excellent scale in no time. And we'll also explore some more serverless solutions that you can use on GCP. So let us start by defining the problem statement for today's talk. What we have is that we have a web application. I want it to be scalable. I want it to be containerized. I can write it in any language, as well as I should not worry about its operations. It should be low ops. And I might also need a custom domain to be connected. Shilpa, what do you think is a possible solution for this? Over to Shilpa.
Yes, Dharmesh, as you have already given a hint, I really think serverless would be the go to solution for this. Why we prefer serverless? Serverless is a, I would say, very great shift in the technology that enables developers to focus on their code without worrying for the infrastructure. In that case, the best solution go to is Cloud Run. But as we can see this particular decision tree, we could choose what serverless architecture we want to use. As you can see on the right side of my decision tree, if you have your cloud, if you have your data on Firebase, so you can use and you want to use any external functions with it, I think Cloud Run, your cloud functions will be the go to solution for that. But if you want to use any external code or any external libraries, in that case, you have to choose whether you want to use Kubernetes with it. If you are working on with Kubernetes, I think Cloud Run for Anthos would be the go-to solution. But if you want to use the language you want, like Python, Node, etc., and you want to use your own custom libraries, then I would prefer Cloud Run is the best solution for that. Moving on to the Cloud Run. So why we use Cloud Run? Cloud Run is a fully managed compute platform on which we can deploy our apps without worrying about the infrastructure. Cloud Run is very helpful when you want to use your apps in which you have done coding from your end, like you have used your languages and your libraries. If we talk about the features of Cloud Run, here on Cloud Run, as I have already mentioned, you can use any language and any libraries. Apart from this, Cloud Run takes care of the redundancy. You don't have to worry about where your traffic is coming in from. It will multiply the container in the time zones, and you need not to worry about the traffic coming in. Next, which we worry about more when we are working along with the cloud build and everything is the error in the logging part. So Cloud Run does that for us as well. What it does is it comes with the out of box integration with cloud logging and error monitoring. So if any case you want to check with errors and everything, you can just go to cloud logging and error monitoring. Next up is if we want to do the auto scaling. We don't have to worry about that because Cloud Run does that for us. You can go from zero to excellent scaling with the Cloud Run. Cloud Run is built on Knative. So, what Knative actually is? Knative is an open source project built over Kubernetes, which enables us to use the libraries and the languages we want to, and we don't have to worry about the infrastructure in that case as well. It also enables portability for our workloads on the platforms. Next is cost efficient building. Why Cloud Run is very cost effective? Because it you just have to pay for the services you use in Cloud Run. You don't have to worry about, okay, I have enabled this service and I'm not using this service, so I'll be getting charged for it. No, in Cloud Run, that doesn't happen at all. You don't have to worry about it, and you can very lessly sleep, because when you are using Cloud Run, it manages everything. So I really, really prefer Cloud Run in that way. As you can see this particular slide, how does Cloud Run work, right? Here you can see on the right hand side, there is one GCP project and there are two services in it. One is service A and one is service B. In service A, we can see there are three applications which are over there, right? Which is A3, A2, right? And in the service A, as we can see, there are multiple requests coming in. So in that particular request, Cloud Run has automatically multiplied the container instances. And if we see the service B, there are no requests coming in and there are no container instances in that case. So that is how Cloud Run manages it. As far as your traffic is coming in, it start multiplying the instances to deploy and sorry, to multiply the workload and to take care of the load balancing. But in service B, as there is no request coming in, there is no container instance. Now, as we know that which serverless product is suited for me, Dharmesh, I have a question for you. How can I operationalize this? How can me as a developer need not to worry about the deployment and I can do the deployment with minimal assistance? Is there any CI/CD configuration possible for that?
Absolutely, Shilpa. That's what this talk is all about. We are going to see what does CI/CD on GCP mean for Cloud Run and Cloud Build. Let us see some of the products that can help you achieve CI and CD, that is your entire operationalization of the using Cloud Run that you try to do. So there is a beautiful product called as Cloud Build. Now what this product does is allows you to build your applications on GCP, and it allows you to deploy it on Cloud Run. It not just allows you to deploy on Cloud Run, think of. So taking an example of Cloud Run with Cloud Build, I'll show you this architecture which you can use for your application as well. So you as a developer, you push the code on GitHub, your favorite tool to manage your source control. Now GitHub, it will try to trigger a build on Cloud Build. So Cloud Build needs to have a trigger. Now this trigger is going to push a container image onto GCR, which is Google Container Registry, that the box that you see on the rightmost side of this diagram. Now your build pipeline is done. Now let's try to deploy this. Your Cloud Build, whenever it gets a trigger to build an application or to build a container, it is the Cloud Run is also going to know that, okay, I need to build something. When will it build? Once the container is on the GR, which is the container registry. And it pulls the image from there and deploys it with the help of Cloud Build. That's how your entire CI/CD pipeline can work on GCP at zero operational cost on that. So you can see that any code that you want to build, be it like on Python, PHP, Java, whichever code it is, as far as you can containerize this, you can deploy it on Cloud Run with no ops or zero ops as much as you can think of. Now, what exactly does this cloud build give you? What are these core features, or what does the build lifecycle look like? So, as I told earlier, cloud build, it's more of a service that executes your build, okay, on GCP's infrastructure. You don't have to commission your infrastructure, you don't have to deploy a compute instance, or you don't have to deploy a database as such. What you have to do is just follow these 5 steps. Prepare your application, build a configuration files. Of course, someone has to tell Cloud Build what needs to be built, submit that to Cloud Build, and execute that build based on the configuration. That's it. Your container is ready, and it's ready to be pushed to registry and onto Cloud Build or on Cloud Run or compute or wherever you want to deploy your instances. So that's how the build lifecycle really looks like. How do you actually whenever you are deploying a new service on Cloud Run, you need to ensure that you continuously deploy, you enable the continuous deployment using the cloud build. So this checkbox, this radio button needs to be enabled. When you enable, sorry, yeah, okay, this slide or the previous slide? Okay, sure, we'll do so. Okay,
Note for the editor, let's cut right after he got disconnected and froze and start off from this slide again.
yeah. So how do you enable continuous deployment with Cloud Run? So whenever you see whenever you deploy a new service, okay, at on Cloud Run, you just have to ensure that this radio button is enabled. That is set up with Cloud Build. When you do this, you get an option to connect your registries or your repositories, okay, with Cloud Run. Now, what happens over here that you'll get an option to enable or connect your registries into Cloud Run. Now, your source repositories, of course, if it is GitHub, it will ask for an authentication. Once you enable that, you'll see all your repositories in this dropdown. You select the repo that you want to link and then specify the Docker file, or whether if it's a Go, Node.js application or something, you just have to specify the appropriate radio button. So in 3 steps, or rather actually in just 2 steps, your deployment can be enabled in a continuous fashion with minimal operations. So with this, you can actually go ahead for the demo. And now that Shilpa has understood implementing Cloud Run as the serverless compute option, Cloud Build as the part where you can make continuous deployments. Shilpa, over to you to have a fantastic demo around this.
Thank you, Dharmesh, for letting me explaining everything to me. Now we'll go ahead with the demo portion. Let me just go to my screen. So as you can see, I'm on my cloud console. If you guys don't have your cloud console available, you just, or if you're not registered on the cloud, so what you need to do is you just need to register yourself with your Gmail ID. You can register yourself on the cloud. And if you're using your cloud platform for the very first time, Google gives you $300 free credits to use for the year, which you can utilize over your cloud platform. Today, we are going to do a small demo using where we can build a web app and deploy it on the Cloud Run and Cloud Build. What we'll do is, first of all, as you can see on over here on my screen, I'm on the demo screen. This is my project which I'm going to use. If you don't have any project, you can just create new project by clicking on this button, and a new project will be created to you. And then after that, you'll be able to see this particular screen. So, first of all, as we all know, we are going to use Cloud Run. So, we need to enable the Cloud Run for us. So, to enable Cloud Run, we'll just go to API and services. Just click on this. You can directly search for Cloud Run over here, but I have just gone to APIs and services just to showcase the case that we have all these API libraries available with us in the GCP platform, right? And in here, we can go and search for Cloud Run. As you can see, I can see Cloud Run over here. I just need to click it. It will take a while to load. As it is loaded, and you can see this is already enabled for me, right? If this is not already enabled, we just get an enable button over here where we can just enable the API for me, and then we can start running it. After enabling Cloud Run, we can just go back to our cloud platform, right? And in here, what we have to do is we have to open the Cloud Shell. If you can see on my screen, this is the option from where we can activate the Cloud Shell. I just need to click it here. to activate the Cloud Shell, and it will take some time to get activated. Yeah. So once connected to your Cloud Shell, you'll be able to see that your project ID over here, right? First of all, we need to authenticate ourselves. So to authenticate, we just need to authorize ourselves. Yeah. So now as we are authorized, next we need to check if we have a project with it. So to check which project we are working on, we just need to enter gcloud config list. As you can see, it shows that I'm using the project FS India for this, right? So once I'm done with the project, so when you're working on with Cloud Shell, what it does is it sets some environment variables for you, right? So just check which all environment variable it has set it up for you. You can just print echo the value, right? Yeah. So you can see it has set up the project ID for me, right? So if you cannot see this, what you can do is you can just set your project. So for that, you just need to do is Google Cloud config set project, and I need to give my project ID. If you don't know your project ID, there is one simple way to get it. Just go to your project. You will get this project info column over here, right? In this, you just need to copy your project ID and you just need to paste it over here, and it's done. Once you're done with this, what you need to do next is, as we have set up the done setup with the project, next what we have to do is we have to set up some time zone, because we want to deploy our project in some certain time zone, right? In that case, what we can do is cloud config set compute. Yeah, this is a zone which I want to set up. So the zone is US Central, and I'm done setting up that. Next, coming on to the major part where we have to take up a GitHub link and we have to paste it over here, right? So in that case, I can just go to my GitHub. So I have just copied the link from my GitHub, right? And then what I can do is I can just go to the root folder if I'm not on, right? And then I just need to clone my repository. This is a repository which I'm going to clone for it, and it's done, right? So after we are done with this, as you can see, this is a repository which I've cloned and it is over here, right? After we are into this repository, we just enter this particular repository, right? Here we have our file setup. As you can see, we have this setup.sh file over here. It is not necessary that every project has setup.sh file, because this file is generally a helper file where whenever we are deploying our app on the cloud, we just set up like start running this file as I'm doing it right now. You will see it will start checking up for some libraries which is needed for this particular project to work along, right? So if you don't have any setup file, in that case, you need to manually like install every libraries and everything which you need for your project. But if you add everything into your setup file, I think that would be the best solution to go for that. In this case, as we can see, it is checking up for the required npm versions, and then it is checking up some dependencies and it is installing it. It just takes a minute or so to get installed. We can wait till that time. Yes. Now it has installed it and now it is building it. Yeah. So as you can see, my script is fully completed over here. So what I need to do next is I can just before deploying it, right? Just before deploying it, as my code is up and running on my local, on the cloud, I can check it up. So just to check it up, I'll just go to my root directory and press, I'll just enter npm start. So this will start my project in the local host. As you can see, Monolith is listening on port 8080. So what I need to do in that case is, this is the web preview where I can click and just I can go and preview on port 8080, right? Yeah. So as you can see, this is my web app is up on localhost of my cloud. So we just that means our code is fine on the cloud. Next, we can go ahead and deploy it. Right. I'll just stop this process because we need to deploy it. We need not to set it up on the local host. It's already done, right? So to do that, what we can do is we first need to Dockerize our file. What we do, or how does a Docker file helps us? So what a Docker file does for us is it is nothing but a set of instructions when you are working on a your app, right? You need you need some set of instructions when you are going to deploy it, right? There are some dependencies which needs to be installed and all that stuff. So a Docker file contain all that instruction in a sequence manner so that whenever you go and deploy your app on the cloud build, your Docker file can help you do that for you, right? You just start and installing your you can just start with the Docker image and install that up, and that will do the service for you, right? So now as we are going to build it, as we earlier we enabled our Cloud Run service. In that we just searched our Cloud Run from here and then we enabled it, right? One thing which we can do from here is we can enable from Cloud Shell as well. To enable Cloud Build from Cloud Shell, what we need to do is gcloud. So because Cloud Build is a service, right, and I have to enable it. So this is in googleapis.com. In this manner we can just enable Cloud Build. So as you can see, my this operation is successful. Next I need to do is I need to build one Docker image, right? What do I need what do I do in that case is I'll just enter gcloud. What do I need to do is I need to build one Docker image and I submit it. The tags which I'm using for it is GCR, as Dhanesh already explained it. Why I have mentioned this particular as a variable? Because it picks up the path of your project, right? Yeah, earlier I was getting some error because it's gcloud builds, it's not build. So sorry for that. So now our application is getting containerized, right? It can take some time to get containerized, but not much time. Yes. So now our application containerization is completed. Now, as we have done all the pre-processing, next time, like next work is to build it, to deploy it, right? So to deploy, we have two processes. One is we can use a fully managed system using Cloud Run, and then the another one is we can use Cloud Run on GK, which is Google Kubernetes Engine. For this app, as we are doing the serverless thing and we need not to worry about infrastructure and anything, I think a fully managed platform would be go-to solution for us, because in that case we need not to worry about anything, right? And Cloud Run, when we are using it, so for deploying, we are going to use Cloud Run, which is fully managed. So to do that, we just need to run some commands over here. Cloud run deploy. So now I am entering the image path, right, which I have built, which is my Docker image. Again, I'm entering the path. And what platform I need to use is managed platform, right? Because I'm going to use a fully managed service, not the GKE one. And so now it is asking me for the service name. I can give the service name which I want to, like I have given the monolith as a service name. It is saying run.google cloud not enabled on the project. It can take some time to enable. Yeah. Now this operation. Now this operation is successful. Now next up is, as you can see, it is asking me for a region. You can choose any region from 1 to 14. So 14 is cancel in case you want to not choose anyone. But yeah, you can choose any from these of you just have to enter the number. So as I have entered the number 10. Yes. So now it has started deploying in, right? It again takes some time to deploy it, right? So once it gets deployed on Google Cloud or on Cloud Build, whenever we are deploying any kind of web app, it takes up the concurrency. Concurrency, what is that? So that means number of requests which a web app can serve at once. That is what we call concurrency, right? So during the concurrency part, what we do is we can change that concurrency. By default, Google Cloud uses concurrency of 80, like 80 requests it can serve at once. We can change that as well. I'll show you that also once it gets completed. So yeah. This deployment is just finishing up. It has done with the IAM policy. IAM policy are the authentication policies for the user, and this it's just routing the traffic. So it must be done in some time. So as you can see over here, it is mentioning all the details. It is deploying my container to Cloud Run service. The container name is this particular in the project DevFest India, right? And then in the region which is US Central one, right? Yeah. So as this is done, we can see our app on this particular link. I'll just click on this link and we'll be able to see our app. Ta-da! And we have deployed our app. Now, as I talked about the concurrency, let us do that, right? So, to check the concurrency, we'll do nothing, but we'll just go to our last command, which we done. Yeah. So here we were using platform manage, and then we can just give the concurrency over here, which is concurrency of 1. So by default, as I've mentioned, the concurrency is 80, but now I want to change this to 1. So now it will start the deployment part again. Again, it will ask from me the same things. Region, which I'll enter again. Sorry, it's not 19, it's 10, which I'm working on. So now it has started over the deployment part again because it goes into revision. Every time you deploy something and you work with that part, it creates a revision for that. As I showed you in earlier slides, that in Cloud Run, every container we build and every deployment we do, it goes into revision, right? And we cannot modify that revision. It's like closed box, locked box, and every time you change, do something, and then the revision gets loaded. Yeah, so we are done, right? So now if you want to change your concurrency again, you just have to do is, that's it. Again, same thing, and then the region. It will again deploy it, but it will take lesser time then because it is already done. It's just changing the concurrency part here. So as this is getting done, now let's say what happened is somebody from your office came to you and told you, oh, I want to change something. I want to change the details from the index page, right? As we can see over here, this is the index page, but they want to put on some more details into this page. So in that case, what you need to do is, right? So in that case, say you have done some changes into your index page. I'll just go into this, right? Yeah. If you see, there are these particular folders into it, right? And my all of the pages are into this React app, right? Then there is this source. If I go into this, I can see there are pages into it, right? So I'll go into this pages. Yeah. So there is this home directory because into this my home pages are situated, right? Yeah. So say you have, what you want to do is you want to just replace your old index page with your new one. So somebody from your company has already made this page and told you to just replace your data with this. So in that case, I have just copied my page, right? And then I'll just start over it again, where I'll just go to my React app. Where is that folder? I'll just go into this folder and then I'll run it again. npm run. What I have to build is monolith. Started. Yeah, it has completed the build, right? Next, we have to check it into the localhost. If you want to do that, nothing we have to do. We just need to go out from here, go to monolith, and then do the npm, the initial process which we done earlier. Now, it is again listening on the local host. If you want to just preview it, what I have to do is, now here you can see these details have been changed, right? This was a product which is already deployed, and this the changes which we have done. Now let's deploy this, right? Now we can deploy this using zero downtime as well, right? So to deploy this, we just need to submit a build again. Gcloud builds submit tag. Now, as I have done some changes, right, I can rename it as 2. There is some error in the tag value. Just let me check. Yes. Now it has started, already have this image. So now it has started building it again, deploying it again. So in that process, what we need to do is we have started building the container again. Once it is done, we can again build it with zero downtime, because what happens is sometimes these changes, when you are doing the changes, you cannot afford to like give the downtime your web app, right? In that case, Cloudrun offers us this service where we can build it with zero downtime and deploy it with zero downtime. Now just to deploy it, and same process, just, and it has started deploying the final process. Once this is done, we can just verify our deployment. It will take like, yeah, it is done, right? Now, if you want to verify your deployment, and now let us see like if the change is deployed. Yes. So now as you can see, this has been deployed, right? That was fast, right? Now, if we want to verify a deployment, we just need not to do anything. We just need to choose the region and where we can see, yes. So here our service is working in, right? I think we are good with it, where we have deployed our app, we have done everything, right? I'll just give you a quick recap of the demo. Yeah. So within the quick recap of demo, what we done was at start we just set up the GCP environment. Then we had our code in the GitHub from where we just cloned our repository. Then we started off it with like sharing containing the creating the Docker container. Right after creating Docker container and after building it, we start deploying it on Cloud Run. Right after deploying it, what we did was we changed the concurrency where we can change the load time or the request time when the user is coming in, allowing how many users it can handle. And then what we did was we changed some code in the website and web app, we can say, and then updated it again with zero downtime, right? So Dharmesh, I have a question for you. Is there any more serverless solutions which we can work on with? If you can help me with that, as we are done with Cloud Run and Cloud Build.
Sure, thanks, Shilpa. That was a fantastic demonstration of the end-to-end pipeline. But before I dive into more serverless solutions, let me show you some magic that you can also do on GitHub. Over to my screen on the GitHub. Yeah. Okay. So you see this particular repository that I have on GitHub, okay? And you see this fantastic little button over here which says that run on Google Cloud, which means that I have already integrated this repo on Google Cloud using Cloud Run and Cloud Build, which means I don't even have to go onto my console and I can start deploying it. Let us see a very quick demonstration of that. So what I have to do is I just click on that button, and here you see a Cloud Shell opening up on your console, and it will start asking you some basic questions at which region you want to deploy and so on and so forth. Okay, so it is waiting for the authorization. I just have to authorize it once, and it is cloning my repo. It clones my repo. It does all the basic checks. So I'll tell it on which project do I need to run this. So I run this on Star Trek Mumbai. This is a demo project which we have for DevFest 2020. Hope you all are enjoying all these sessions. And I choose the region as US West 1. Yes, you see that it is attempting to build the Docker file, attempting to build the application with the Docker file, which means that I did not do, yeah, yeah. Let me zoom in for the users, and I don't think I can zoom any further than this. Let me try again. Yeah, okay, this should be good. And yeah, it is building the container image. Now, what you'll see after this that the Docker container is being built. If it is built, it will show a tick mark over here, and the container image is built. It is now pushing to the container registry. Now you see that it is deploying this as a service called Hello Cloud Run on Cloud Run, which means that it is the same set of sequence that I had shown in my earlier slides, and it is deployed. So you get your live application over here. I think it just took me almost like 35 40 seconds, and it is built with Cloud Run for DevFest. Thanks for attending this. Now over to the slides back. So you saw that like in almost no time, I was able to deploy an application right from the GitHub with absolutely no operations involved. Like I did not have my DevOps guys or anyone. I directly did it by myself. So you as a developer can do that with much, much easier way and low code deployments. So over to like more serverless solutions that we were discussing about. Okay, and I think I can then carry on with the rest of the slides. So the next slide actually talks about what are the other serverless solutions that you have on GCP. So we saw just a tip of the iceberg, which is the compute, which is involved around Cloud Run. There is also App Engine, there is Cloud Functions. So all these are the possible ways in which you can deploy your applications on GCP in a serverless fashion. Similarly, there is a lot more in store on GCP, especially around databases, AI ML, which means that there are a lot of APIs available within your browser. You can start writing and building models or AI/ML models without having you to worry about any kind of infrastructure requirements, any kind of memory, CPU, and requirements, and the rest of the things get taken care of. Likewise, there are a lot of other tools around DevOps. So, I mean, one part of it was Cloud Build that you saw. There are you can actually build an end-to-end suite of smart assistants, so like Google Assistants or even like chatbots using Dialogflow. There is an advanced version of that which has recently been launched. And there is absolutely no harm in saying that there is a huge ton of analytic related tools that you can use and using the power of GCP, all in a serverless fashion. Have to worry about the infrastructure, the code, and everything. You just write your code, focus on your application, and leave the deployments and the all rest to GCP and its infrastructure. So with that, we actually conclude our today's talk. Thanks everyone for attending. Thanks to Shilpa as well. Uh, yeah, and we really enjoyed this giving this talk. Hope you all have enjoyed it as much as we did in the demonstration. So happy to answer any questions, queries, and hope you all like to try this out by yourself. Shilpa.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you Dharmesh for answering, and thank you Dharmesh for helping out on the more serverless solutions. And if anyone has any questions regarding this, they can reach out to us and they can ask their questions. Thank you so much. Have a good day and a good Dev Fest. Bye bye.
Thank you.